Happy Monday. What's going on, guys? It's Gabe.
It's Caleb.
And before we get into today's episode, what do we have to announce?
Oh yeah. Have you checked our subscriber count lately?
I did. I saw it today.
Where was it, roughly?
Like 520?
Wow.
Whoa.
5? Did you say 5?
520.
Wow.
We made it.
Wow.
We made it to that half of 1,000. Half of the K.
That's been a milestone for a long time.
It has been. So thank you guys so much.
That is amazing.
Put an effect on the screen. Woo! So, so thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers on
Seriously.
YouTube. That is incredible. And once again, thank you for the continued support on our other platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. You guys are just as awesome. It is so crazy. But what now that we have 500 subscribers? What's going to happen?
We are gonna do an insane giveaway.
Yep.
I'm so excited for this giveaway.
Yeah.
Do you want me to talk about it?
I don't
or?
think we talk the specifics of the giveaway yet.
Okay.
I think we make a separate video for that. But we are going to have a giveaway soon. You guys are going to love it. It's the biggest giveaway we've ever had on our channel.
Ever.
So, yeah, I'm excited. Thank you all again so much for 500
Seriously,
subscribers.
You guys rock. If you're new here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. We love all of you guys. We wouldn't be here without you.
Definitely not.
And we hope to continue to grow and spread more positivity to people.
Yes, all love. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
So,
Seriously.
moving into today's topic, what are we talking about?
Today we're going to talk about support groups.
Support groups and support systems.
Mm-hmm.
So last episode, we kind of talked about bringing your walls down.
Yep.
And why it's important to let people in. And now we're going to be talking about the importance of having those people in your life.
Definitely.
So I guess where do you want to start with this? There's so many different alleys we can go down.
That's a tough question.
It is. I think we can start with give me an example of a time that a friend helped you out in a tough time. We'll just start with that. Something simple.
Okay. I think we kind of touched on like how to help people and how to help others.
Yep.
It was basically what we talked about in there. I've had lots of friends. I don't want to name one specific time.
Yeah.
But in general, they'll be like, hey, you want to go hang out? And we'll go out for a coffee or a snack. And we'll just hang out like nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have lots of friends that have given me lots of advice too. I don't know. I can't just select one specific one.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. So this week was actually pretty monumental.
Mm-hmm.
So my girlfriend was out of town. She's in Florida. And then my parents, well, I guess my whole family took a trip. And one thing about me is I get really anxious when I'm away from people I love, which is weird because like typically you look at me, you don't see like an anxious person, but like it's easy to bottle it up, and hide it inside.
Definitely.
So I was like incredibly anxious all week, like terrible, the worst I've been in so long. And so I ended up, it was like Monday afternoon. I talked to Josh and I was like, hey man, like my anxiety is terrible right now. You want to come over and hang out? And he's like, sure. And an important part of this message is that you don't necessarily need to know you're helping somebody to understand that you're helping somebody.
Definitely.
And one piece that I wanted to share that like there was one point in this week where I was like losing my mind, like just going crazy. I was anxiety ridden. It was terrible. And then like I called you and I heard like Ty was playing the beat in the back and I was moving my room around because like when I get really anxious, I clean and I do stuff like that.
Got you.
And I called you and you were doing, and then we just started like freestyling, right?
Yeah.
And so Ty's Caleb's sweet mate over in Traverse, and he was just messing around with some beats, and then Caleb and I just started like freestyling, and we were on the phone for like an hour
at least.
And it was just incredible because it totally made me like reevaluate where I was, and I was like, nah, if I need like my people, they're here. You know what I mean?
100%.
And so then like Josh was over all week. Big shout out to Josh. Joe was coming over. Big shout out to Joe. Zach came over. Big shout out to Zach. And so it was like the importance of like when that week started and everyone left, like I thought I wasn't going to get through the week. That's like how bad it was. And then as time went on, it was like, nah, I have my friends. Like I have more people than I expect.
Well, I don't want to go into the specifics, but since you pulled out a specific event, I'll pull out one.
Yeah.
I was going through kind of a struggle. I was in mid-December, and I just remember right after it happened, I felt super isolated and by myself. And first of all my friends in Travers at school, huge support system. Shout out Jacob, Ty, and Sky. Ty and Sky are in the vlog. that we made a little bit ago to get to 400,
Yep.
which is why it's crazy that we're at 500.
Yeah.
And I know we've already said that, but
Yeah.
it's just insane. And then I remember I was walking back from work, and literally for the 4 hours I worked at the gym there,
Yeah.
I was just eating myself up and just beating myself down. And I was walking out, and there was this rain, and it just reminded me of the first time, one of the first episodes we made, and like when we launched the episode, it was like really rainy out,
Mhm.
and so it just had that like, I don't know, it just reminded me that instantly, and so I called you, and we just talked for my whole walk back to the dorms.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's that similar thing where it's just like, you know, I feel alone right now, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And like you said, like every single person there was there. They weren't just kind of there. They weren't like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like either they helped distract me, or they were like, look, what you're going through isn't like, it's not horrible. Or,
Right.
I mean, not that that's, I don't know. It was just great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, it's just understanding that there's more people here for you than you can even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy that you might like be embarrassed or scared to open up to somebody, but once you do, all it is like love.
Yep.
And it's like comfort, and they're like, I'm here for you, you know? And so it's really cool. And just personally, I wanted to share, like, this week has been hell.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. Like, I was finishing up my shift at work yesterday, and I was talking to one of my coworkers, and I'm like, we made it through the week, you know? Like, I was like, some weeks are just longer than others. That's all I said. I was like, some weeks are just longer than others, but we made it through the week. It's the weekend. Get to see Caleb. We get to record some episodes, and you know, later we're gonna just be hanging out, you know,
Yep.
and having fun. And it's like going through the week. That's what got me through. Was like I have something to look forward to at the end of the week.
Right.
And I think that is so important. And if you can make like plans with your friends, like if you're going through a tough time, and just remind yourself that it's gonna all be okay, because this weekend I'm gonna be able to just relax.
Mm-hmm. And what's great about that is you were telling me the other day on the phone about how you were just killing it in sales at your new job.
Yeah.
And so that's great, because I guarantee none of them knew you were probably having a really rough week.
Yeah.
And so one good little self-support thing is, first of all, you can talk to people.
Yeah.
Obviously, but if you just need us like a little bit to help you get through the week, just set little challenges.
Yeah.
I feel like the week goes by so much faster when you set little goals.
Yeah.
And you kind of focus on that.
Well, and so this was actually really a fun mindset I took. So while everyone was gone, like literally like crippling anxiety, like anxiety attacks like crazy. And I had a really hard time leaving my apartment.
Yeah.
And I mean, this was literally like last week.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, this is a good perspective piece for like people who think that like we don't deal with issues, or like
Right.
that we don't have experience or stuff like that. Like
Definitely.
I deal with that stuff all the time.
Mhm.
It's just who I am. It's part of me, and I'm coming to accept that. But so one thing though is I was going through this week, and I was like, this is the worst my anxiety has been in so long. It's like crippling. I feel like I can't even look outside, right? Like I just
Mhm.
want to sit inside and kind of like be a hermit crab.
Yeah.
And so, but then I was sitting there and I was like, well, when everybody comes back, I'm going to be comfortable. So why don't I like try to embrace, because when everyone comes back, I'll be fine. So why cower now? Like, this is a rare opportunity for me to be pushing my anxiety. Let's try it out. And I mean, it's literally like, it's little things that I try to do throughout the day, but it was just that perspective piece of like, I will be okay in a week.
Right.
So I'm not just going to wait until then. I know I'll be fine then. So why don't I push myself now?
Mm-hmm.
But anxiety is a weird thing, man. And it can make you believe a lot of things that aren't true.
Yeah. And
And,
that just made me think of another really good example of the time I've leaned on a support system.
Mm-hmm.
And this was very recent, probably, I want to say like a week ago, 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks when we last met
Yeah.
at Big Buck.
Okay, yeah.
And I do this thing where I just kind of like self-isolate.
Yeah.
And I'm really like quick to make friends, but it's like you have to be a really good friend for me to even think about talking to you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because I'm just like that, you know, there's no really reason for it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm just quick to isolate. And so we met up with the group, and I remember we had to talk about 3 struggles that we had.
Yeah.
And I put out there that I'd felt isolated, and to have those, you and the other 3 people just sit there and listen.
Yeah.
Was the like craziest thing. Like I was so scared, but it felt so good to get it off, especially when I heard like the others like pitching in and like,
Yeah.
cause you do this thing where when you're alone sometimes, not always, but sometimes you feel like you're the only one struggling with this. You feel like there's nothing you can do about it, and you feel like you're crazy. You feel like you're mentally insane.
Yeah.
And so when you talk to other people and they go, "Oh, well, I've had that," and you're just like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
And boom, you just like open up a whole new it just opens up a whole new insight, and it's crazy.
Yeah, so this is definitely, I really like this episode because this is definitely more personal. I don't think we've really talked much about the struggles that we have in like our lives. So I love this because it's able to give our viewers perspective. And we were talking today, like the point of the podcast, the reason why we wanted to do it was because when we were going through like our very bad times and before we learned everything we know now about reaching out and having support groups and things like that, when we would just Google stuff, look online, and we'd find like an older generation of people saying, yeah, we had those struggles too, but we're out of it now. When we started the podcast, what I had in mind was, where are all the young voices who are going through it? Where are all the young people that are saying, this is what I went through, this is what I'm doing to get through it? And we continually are. You know what I mean? Like, I had crippling anxiety all week, couldn't leave the house, stuff like that. And it's like, I'm a grown adult, I need to get over that, but how do I do it?
Right.
And so that's where I'm at. You know?
Because people are so quick to, oh, well, here's a quick fix, do this. But they've done it before, and it could have been different. You don't even know. When you're in the struggle, you can kind of talk to people and be like, okay, this is where you're at. This is where I'm at. What are some things that helped you? Here's some things that helped me. And it's always mutually beneficial. You always learn something. You find out what works and what doesn't work. But people who have been through it, and, you know, maybe it's been years since they've had struggles that are, you know, like where we're at now. It's not necessarily that they mean it, but it's just outdated, you could say. Sometimes. And that's not saying that, you know, that's just the difference between wisdom and current experience. And wisdom's great, but sometimes it helps to hear someone else, like, again, you don't feel alone. You don't feel like you're the only one going through whatever you're going through.
And it is really nice. And I guess for this episode, it's not even so much, we're not bringing you points or topics. We're just telling you personal anecdotes and personal examples of why it is so important to reach out to people and to ask for help if you think you need it, or even you don't even have to reach out for help. You can just reach out to them and ask, you know, hey man, do you want to hang out today? Because trust me, like if you're having a bad day, hanging out with somebody is gonna either distract you or just make the situation all around better. Because it can be so isolating. And it can lead you to become such a bad person if you're scared to open up, because that's how I used to be. When I would have a week like I had this week, I would shut everyone out, be mad that they didn't understand, assume that they wouldn't understand, so I wouldn't even reach out for help. And so I'd kind of just be scared alone. And like I wouldn't explain to people like what I'm doing now with the podcast. And it really is like, it's a terrifying place to be, because people don't want to be around you because you're mean to them.
And they have no idea why. You know?
Yeah, they have no clue why, and you don't feel like it's worth it to explain to them because either you're embarrassed or you're scared or you're hurt. And this is really important as men. As men, it is terrifying because I don't want to say it's how society is, but it's how we think society should be as men. Is like we can't have emotions, we can't have feelings, we can't express who we really want to be because I'm scared of judgment from an external source. And so we bottle that all up and we hold it inside, and it can be very dangerous.
So I know you know who he is, but do you know much about Kid Cudi at all?
I don't know much about him.
Okay, so the reason that I've always been a big Kid Cudi fan, I actually just watched the documentary on him. It's on Amazon Prime. My name's Scott. Might as well shout it out.
Yeah.
But he talks about, so he's been like suffering with depression his whole life.
Yeah.
And you get to hear like people that he came up with, and you get to hear like other like rappers like opinions on him. Yeah. And they're all talking about how he's really close, and then he'll just go on this like spout where he's just completely alone. He'll run away, like won't talk to you. And so the whole thing is like he'll make his music, and his music is like as raw as it gets. Like he literally puts his story or what he's thinking into the song, and that's why people like loved it immediately. And so when people didn't love it, that's like his life story that they were just like dissing on or hated. Yeah. And so it's actually a lot of rappers were talking about how much it's crazy, because up until him, like no rappers ever talked about like that deeper stuff. They were always just like drugs and money and whatever. And then Kid Cudi comes around and he's like, hey guys, I have depression. Here's
Yeah.
how it is. This is how I feel.
Right.
And they were talking about just like it kind of brought that to the surface and help people like confront it, let them know they're not alone.
Yeah.
And so that's why I've always liked Kid Cudi, but
Yeah.
it's kind of a cool parallel because like he had to sacrifice a lot of his privacy just to let people know like you're not alone out
Yeah.
there.
And that's kind of the goal that we have here is like we just want you guys to understand that we go through that stuff too. We offer you a platform to reach out for help. And it's really sad when we see people struggling alone, or people that we even know that we know are struggling and won't reach out because if you can lead a horse to water but you can't make it drink it.
Right.
We can try to poke and pry at people all day, but they're not going to tell us until they're ready. And I'm sure you guys experience that all in your lives, people that you would love to help. But all you can do is just remind them that you're there for them.
Yep.
Remind them that you love them and that they're cared for.
And I guarantee it, again, I feel the same way sometimes where it's just like you're completely alone, but there is at least one singular person out there, whether you know it or not, even if it's a random stranger, because, and there's times in our lives where we are alone, and I think, you kind of have to work through it.
Yeah.
But you have so much more support than you think.
Yeah.
99 out of 100 times.
And you're so much stronger than you believe.
Definitely.
And that's like probably the takeaway from this
Mm-hmm.
is that no matter what you're going through, you're going to get through it. Like that is the most important thing I've learned through like all my struggles in life is that I'm undefeated.
And there's no shame in talking to people.
No, not at all.
Because I think it's even more than just like a gender thing. I think in general, people are like, they feel like they're lost if they have to have help.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. The greatest people. You ever notice when like an athlete or an actor gets some sort of award and they're instantly thanking all the people that like their family or coaches or whatever?
Right.
It's because they couldn't do it alone.
Yeah.
They used their support around them. And I love power to you if you're, solo. I get that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if the support's there, why not use it?
Yeah, definitely. It is so important. Do you have anything else that you want to say today?
Just seriously, reach out. Our Instagram, we love talking to people through our DMs. We love connecting at that more personal level.
Yeah.
It's in the description below. Again, stay tuned for our giveaway video. It's going to be a big one, and we're very excited to create that.
Yeah, thank you again, guys, so much for 500 subscribers. I really enjoyed today's episode. It was more personal and kind of hopefully it helped you guys view us in a different light and make you a little bit more comfortable to reach out because, I mean, we do deal with shit. Yep. It's that simple, and we do. It's short and sweet, today's episode, but personal, and feel free to reach out. We're always here. If you feel like you're alone, you're not. You always have someone in us.
Just know, like we said earlier, you are strong. You are not crazy, okay? You are not insane because you have a struggle. We all have struggles. Some people are more open. Some people are more closed. Just don't be afraid to talk about it with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Alrighty. Well, a little bit lower of an energy here towards the end, so we'll try to get it up here in the outro, but thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it a ton. If you are new and you do enjoy our content, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts,
go ahead
or
and
Spotify.
hit the follow button.
Yeah, go ahead and hit the follow button. And then we love to interact with our community. We love that so much. So if you guys would, just reach out to us on Instagram. Say, hey, we found your podcast. You don't even have to ask a question or tell us anything other than that. We'll just be like, hey, man, thanks for reaching out. We appreciate it. Stuff as simple as that. Just to let us know you're here. So, and then comment if you're from Omegle, because we have been going on an Omegle grind.
We used to diss on it, but
yeah. So we've been hopping on Omegle a bunch and advertising the podcast. So if you guys are from Omegle, shout out to you. A lot of our subscribers came from there, and we appreciate you all so much. So once again, thank you guys all so much for watching.
Thank you.
And happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Peace.